Welcome to Wing Academy Video, an extension of Wing Academy of Unfoldment. I'm your host, Diane Wing, and my show focuses on how to use spiritual concepts in the real world. We will address issues related to the mind, body, and spirit, discover how to release what holds us back, and ways to come into our power. Learn more at dianewing.com. Today, my special guest is Janine Lo. She's an author, a renowned expert in Chinese astrology, feng shui, body language, and an interior designer. We'll be discussing her latest book, Feng Shui Your Way to Abundance. Learn more at janinelo.co.uk. Welcome, Janine.
Hi, Diane. So happy to be here.
I am thrilled to have you today. Folks, this is her website. If you want to learn more about her, she's got a lot of great stuff on here, and she really knows her stuff. And also, let me show you where you can get her book. And this is not the only place you can get her book, I'm sure. I mean, it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
It's
It's
everywhere.
it came out in January and it's literally everywhere now, which is lovely. I love the fact it's being shared everywhere and people can just get hold of it so quickly. Oh, there she is. Feng Shui Way to Abundance. That must be the American cart. Yeah, I'm so used to the English cart. Yeah, it's that's me. I wanted to say something before we people often ask me why did I call it Feng Shui Your Way to Abundance? And for me, abundance isn't just wealth, it's happiness, joy, health, everything. And I was just trying to find a word that would cover everything. So that's why I called it Feng Shui Your Way to Abundance. Just in case you're
I
going to.
love that. That because it's so true. Like immediately people think money.
Yeah,
And it's not just about money.
no.
Abundance is all the good things that can come to us,
Mm. And,
right? When we have the right mindset, the right energy going on.
yeah. And the thing about the house is something you and I were touching on before. Is that there's 9 different areas in the house. So you can tap in via the book into each area. So calling it abundance covers from creativity to children to career to ancestry. Ancestry is very important, I think. I mean, my favorite is actually helpful people, but I think in life we all need people there. It's a tough enough life as it is. So I love to activate when I go feng shui people's houses is helpful people. And with the book, it enables people in their own homes to do that. So yeah,
Yes. Yes. And you even give real life examples of how this is effective in people's life in your book.
yeah,
So it works, folks, but you have to be aware of how the energy is moving, and that's really what feng shui does. It helps you manage the chi in your house, right?
perfectly said. Absolutely. It is all about the energy in our house. I know we haven't touched on declutter yet, but when in your home, you have areas that are a bit dull. You don't use the rooms enough, yeah. So you don't use them. And in my book, I say, if you have rooms you don't use, put your underwear in there. So at least once a day, you have to go in and change your underwear so you move the energy in that particular room. But very good way I find of exempling bad or stagnant energy is if you sat in the corner and someone threw 30 coats on you and you had to sit there until someone came and took them off 24 hours later. How would you feel? You'd be like, and breathe again. And so when you declutter areas of your life in your house, you're breathing energy into it. So that's how I explain energy.
Yes. And it's so true. Like energy gets stuck. And I know people who have multiple doors in their home. Like some of them are around the outside. It's not just the front door. So they don't use those doors. And that creates a lack of flow, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, some of us, you can't use your front door for whatever reason. So you'll use like you'll come in your back gate if you're bringing your car and you'll then go in a back gate, or some people go in via their garage. But as a feng shui consultant, my absolute answer to that is just open that door as well. Even if you're not going to use it on a daily basis, open it. Put plants outside it so that you will open it because you've got to water them. Do something so you have to open it. And whatever the door is that you're not using, whichever direction it is, that part of your life will be stagnant. So if you're unfortunate that you have a southeast door, say, that you don't open, that affects your good fortune. So in my house, I have an east door, which is ancestry and romance. And but I use my back door because I park my car in my driveway and it's easy to use my back door. But I have got lavender outside my front door, so that I have to do
Oh,
it.
nice. Okay. Okay. And the before we started recording today, we were talking about the Bagua map. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a standard feng shui. It's an actual map of 9 segments that of all aspects of life that you can put over your house and see which of these boxes aligns with which room in your house. And if there's clutter, which we know makes things stick, right? The energy just gets so
Yeah,
stuffy with clutter, it will affect that aspect of the Bagua map.
yeah. That's exactly right. So on page 20 in my book, um, I call it the low shoe grid. So it shows you how to put that over your house. I don't do Bagua front door, like your front door. Some people use the front door. I use the center of the house for all the reasons you said, Diane, because some people do not use their front door. So I have worked the low shoe grid out in the center of the house. So it shows you how to find the center of the house because some people have round houses, some people have square, some people have flats where they only have one room. So it goes through all those areas that you should do it. And what's really important is when I'm feng shuiing or people who are going to use the book is only find 3 areas that you work on at a time because to work on 9 areas is just too much in your life. You just won't get it done. But say you wanted to be famous, okay, like a lot of the people do, influence or whatever. That's actually the south of your house. Yeah. So that's when you would use the south of your house. If people want to have a better relationship, that's actually the southwest of your house. Creativity, which is my favorite, one of my favorites, is the west. And helpful people, and some people love to travel, right? So if you feng shui the northwest of your house and it shows you what you should do in that area, that helps you travel. Career is a big thing, that's the north of the house. Knowledge is northeast. I quite like that because I use that as wealth and abundance, as well as southeast. And then we go to east, which is ancestry. So you're going to ask me where health is. Health is in the center of your house. And basically, oh, look at you. You've done it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, so the center of your house is well-being. And I tend to keep that clear. I don't tend to put anything in it. So from the center of your house by about a foot or a meter, keep that just clear with no absolute anything in it. I love how you've relationship, which is the southeast, which is the top right hand corner. What down here has brought up the colors you can do, what it represents. So the southwest is the autumn and it's the element of earth. Then we go down to creativity, which is great, which is for children. And for people who write, I often put them in the creative area because they have better ideas. That's the element there is metal. And again, we have the season of autumn. So the Bagua map goes round until you get to the top, which is Fame, which is summer. So we all go. So the Bagua map is like seasons as well as lives. So it's very, very helpful to do this, and to put this on your house will give you so many easy ways to do it. So, like I said, the Northwest, which is the bottom right, helpful people in travel, really important to get that right, especially in the way our countries, the way we live nowadays, being around. Having people just to pop in and check on you, or you be a helpful person, is super important. So I always do the Northwest at the bottom. Is there any particular area you like, Diane?
Okay, let me ask you this. So,
Go ahead.
what if the room is clear? What if the room is pretty well organized and you go in it, but your closets are stuffed with things?
It's the same
Thing.
thing. Exactly. I was interviewing someone the other day who is a they call them organizers now, declutterers, and she gave me some great tips about emptying your wardrobe. And something I'd never thought about the wardrobe. I always done my wardrobe seasonally, so you have the autumn, winter, then you have the spring, summer clothes, yeah. Um, and she said, but really you should have gym clothes, work clothes, lounge clothes, going out clothes. Well, there won't be any gym clothes in my side, just so you know. But I just thought it was an unusual way of doing it. But I suppose it's quite good, really, if you've got like a fast-paced life, really. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so a wardrobe is really important. And in the book, I talk about a lady that I feng shuied. Her husband passed, and she wanted to meet somebody. And basically, I was brought in because all her family said, she'd met him at uni, they've been together for like 30 odd years, she's only 50. And when I found out where it was, where in her house, um, she had a wardrobe full of her husband's clothes. That she had plonked it in the worst area. She didn't know that, obviously, and I didn't know I was going to do that, but and so she just had to empty it and then paint the wall and do a few other little things. And she did ring me 3 months after, and she had actually met somebody. And the weirdest thing about it was that she met someone who had been in exactly the same situation as her. He'd met his wife at uni, she had passed, so they had this, I don't know, synology, what do you call it? I can't remember the word.
Synergy.
Yeah, it was just amazing. So it was
Yeah.
lovely to hear. So that's how
Yeah.
powerful feng shui is.
And as much as we want to honor those who have passed that we loved, we have to be careful where we honor them in the house, right? Like if you have a cluster of pictures of those who have crossed or
Yeah.
can you tell us more about that?
Okay. Yeah. So this is what you said is very important. You shouldn't have family in the bedroom, people in the bedroom. Just shouldn't have people. I mean, you can have your partner in the bedroom, but not your dog. Picture of your dog. Yeah. I know that seems funny, but I went to someone's house and they said, "Oh, Janine, I've done everything really well. Look, it's just pears in the window." I go, "Yeah, that's you, your partner, and your dog. Which one do you love the most?" And you can imagine, can't you? Um, the other thing is ancestral. Is I was showing someone's house and the person didn't get on with her mother-in-law. So what we did is we went to the ancestral area, which is in the east, and we made like a collage of photos, all in frames, and we put her in there, you know, in like mounted her with everything on there. She was so shocked that her daughter-in-law had done this, and I honestly tell you, this is the truth. They started to build their relationship because she was the mother-in-law was honoured that she put her on the wall. How weird is that? You never think, do you? You never think what people are thinking. Um, but it,
Right.
it makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference. Um, you can have different sort of pictures. So if you're in the wealth area, you could have pictures of Chinese wealth elements. I'm a great one for having water in the southeast, which is good fortune and abundance. And some people are like, "Oh, I don't want to have a water tank. I don't want to have a water feature. I don't want this. I don't want that. I can't stand it." Or this. So my answer to that is put a fish tank in. I don't want fish. Okay, well, don't put any fish in then. Just have the water moving because feng shui means wind and water. And the idea of activating that area after you've cleaned it, cleansed it, saged it, decluttered it is to make the energy move and water and wind. That's why they use water features so the energy moves in that area.
Right. Almost every Chinese restaurant you ever go in has a tank in the front.
I know, and it's really really funny. My son was working in Thailand or Bangkok, yeah. And every year the water moves. It's really, really, it's called a flying star, which I do cover in the book. And he said, "Oh, we've been told we're not allowed out of our offices," he said. And he said, "But I sneaked over to the banister and they brought in a master, all in robes, and a helicopter landed him and he went there. And he said he only put a water feature in. That's all he did, Mum. He was there in about 20 minutes. And he said, and he put it just where you're putting it. And I went, it is what it is. If you know it, you know it. So I don't know what it cost them to bring this guy in, but he was there about 20 minutes and everyone had to stay in their offices. But they love, I mean, I love feng shui because I see what difference it makes.
Yes. So that's one way to bring financial success, correct?
Yes.
Can you give us another example? Because I know that there's a lot of people who are trying to draw financial success right now.
Yeah.
And they might have been struggling with it. They might have been, trying things that they thought would work and they just don't. What blocks it and what can enhance it?
Right. So in the book, I cover manifesting, which is a big word at the moment. I also think manifesting is like a little bit of magic. Um, what happens is people start to do they get on a roll, when you get out of bed and some days are good days, yeah, and then everything goes right, and then you get out of bed sometimes and you trip over the dog or whatever and the day doesn't start right. Okay, so what happens is people go out with great intentions, right? We're going to do the good fortune area, we're going to make sure it's all great and we think really positively, yeah, and then what happens, they start to doubt themselves, right? I'm trying to explain this in a way that I think will be easy. So they start to doubt themselves. So we'll go to the good fortune area and the abundance area. It's nice, clean, it's tidy. We sit there, we think about what we want to happen. And I think that's very important because what we want, it doesn't always turn up the next day. It might take a couple of months or even a couple of weeks to turn up. But if we action every day what we really want to happen, for example, I used to be a DJ, yeah, disc jockey. Um,
Ah.
yeah, and I love doing these podcasts. So when I got my book out, um, the publishers put me on shows, yeah. And you can tell I don't know how to not stop talking. And I thought, oh gosh, I would really like to do that again, but do it professionally. And so I sat in the good fortune area and I put out to the universe what I wanted, did all the things, the watering, made sure that the colours are right in good fortune, green, blue. And anyone can do this, okay? You just have to do it. Every day I sat in there and then I would also think of the day, what had happened and be grateful for, things that have happened, yeah. Try not to get too deep into the bad stuff. Anyway, I kept putting out there that I wanted to. And then randomly, in April this year, the founder of UK Health Radio um, contacted me to see if to interview me to go on his show. Now, I knew he was the founder because I always do my history on people. So the shock for me was I thought I was just going to be interviewed. And I opened the screen opened and it was him. And I was like, oh, and he went, oh, what's wrong? Like this. And I was going, I didn't think you would interview me. But I actually didn't just get an interview. I got an interview of the founder for UK Health Radio and it was amazing. And I've been doing that since April.
Wow.
And I'm having the best time. So what I did, everything you should do in good fortune. And then I went there and really thought about what I wanted, and I wouldn't let the doubt in. I wanted this to happen. I wanted to do this. I'm nothing special. I just wanted it that much. And I think, for your listeners or viewers, I think you need to make a list of what you really want to. And you can say a manifest board or a scribble board or a journaling or whatever. But if you keep sending out to the universe exactly what you want and you have your house aligned to that, so the universe saying, oh, look, Janine's done this, she must be really serious about this, and Janine's done that, um, then it starts to listen. And then it's like a little boulder going down a hill, it gets bigger and faster and things start to happen. But you need to start and you need to action. You know, if you got an email like I did from them saying, would you like an interview? I was like, oh my God, is this a joke or not? Or is it true? And then I thought, no, it's got to be true. So it's I'm getting taken away here, but that's how I do it, and anyone can do it. Anyone can do it.
And it's, it works. If you use a vision board and you do it in accordance with the Bagua map,
Yes.
I put a picture of bookshelves in like the knowledge section
Yeah.
because my office is just it's walls of books.
Yeah.
And I how long ago after I did that? Maybe a few months, like you said, a few months after, I got the exact bookcases. I found the exact, and I didn't even realize that they were the exact ones
Yeah.
until I looked at my vision board again. I was like, oh
I
my
know.
God.
It's because you're sending out that vision, isn't it? I did that with a car as well, that I wanted. And being a feng shui and Chinese astrologer, I knew which day to go and look for it. So that was very important. But I think manifest boards are really important for you to focus on what you really want. There's no secret to them or anything. It's about putting exactly using the bag where you set as you put up earlier, and then go through there. And it's funny because I'm not a person that reads books randomly. I'm a listener, yeah. And I said to
Mm.
you before we came on the show when I was doing listening and working out about you because I wanted to see what it was, and I brought up your books, and immediately the Coven came up, and I was like with the Four Winds, and I'm like, oh, I must download that. I don't do that. I'm not, yeah. And I'm looking forward to actually reading it because it just spoke to me. So it's what speaks to you, isn't it? Do you think?
And that's true. Like, trust your own intuitive sense of what feels right to you, folks. Like, don't just read a book and try to apply the concepts that work for other people. Always make it your own in some way. Now, there are rules for feng shui,
Mm.
but you can also trust your own inner guidance. Like, does the energy feel right once you move this piece of furniture, for example?
Mhm.
If you start opening the doors like you mentioned earlier, does it feel different in the house
Yeah,
once you do that?
yeah,
Um, it's and like you said, you were drawn to the book, and we instinctively know what's for our highest good. Plus, we're being guided.
yeah.
But it's
Oh no, absolutely. I'm a huge angel person, and I always think there's lots of signposts for you. You just need to read them. Just be very obvious about them. But I think you're right. Feng Shui, there is a way of doing it, which is in the book, yeah. But I totally agree that what feels right in that area is right. For example, I was feng shuiing up in London, and this woman wanted to meet a man and move to Brighton. I just remember this distinctly. So I was at the house 2 or 3 hours, and then I went to this room where the man was. I mean, he wasn't literally there, but the essence of him was. And it was a bathroom. She had many bathrooms. But this particular bathroom, I went in, I didn't like that. And she goes, oh, I don't like going in there. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought maybe we've got an energy here or something. And then when I put the bag on the house, that's where her man was, yeah. So initially, she wanted to meet somebody, but she was already pushing him away. So what she had to do, very simply, was make the bathroom somewhere she wanted to go. And then within 3 months, she met him, and randomly, he lived in Brighton. End of story. But it was when she realized that she was pushing the man away. She'd come out of a really bad relationship and she knew she wanted to, but there was that, do you want to or not? You have to be definite. Do you want to do it? And as soon as you are definite about it, then things start to change.
Right, and that's right back to your mindset point. Your mindset has to be aligned with what you're asking for,
Yeah.
or the energy is confused. Like there's uncertainty creates it, doubt, fear
Mm,
blocks,
yeah.
right? Now, we're talking a lot about the house itself, the your living space. How about outside? And what can you do both if you have control over your outside versus some people might be in a circumstance where they don't have a whole lot of control over what's going on outside, like if they're in an apartment complex or on a busy road or something like that.
Okay, so if you do have a garden or an outside, what do you call a garden in America? The yard.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Both, but yeah,
I just
okay.
made it up. Thought I was
Yard.
on something. And so what you do is put the same plan that you have on the bagwork in your garden. And I didn't know a lot about gardening, so I talked to a gardener, and she said to me, what plants should go where, and I told her the colours that I wanted, etc. Anyway, we put together this whole chapter on gardening, how you should have the path feng shui wise, where you should put the bird bath if you haven't got any cats, um, that sort of thing. I was told to put a mirror in there, and then someone, when I was being interviewed, said you shouldn't have a mirror because of birds, but you can make it obvious with stickers and things. So that's if you're lucky enough to have a garden. If you have a flat apartment, if you can put what's the things you put outside?
Courtyard,
Yeah,
like
but if you live in a flat and you have maybe a balcony, you can put plants out, but you can hang. They're not called wall things. Can't think what they're called now. That's very good. If you don't have access to that, then you have to use your windows. And wherever your windows are, you literally have to open the air to let the good energy in. And you can always do that. There's always energy out there to bring in. Um, so, outside is, if you're lucky enough to have it, it's great. If you're not lucky enough to have it, then open the windows. But also, another thing in feng shui is if you have the if you have the access to go to parks or ponds or that sort of thing, you go out there, you spend time there, and the positive energy you pick up from that, you bring back into your own home. That's what I would say.
okay. Okay, perfect. And with the open window, it makes me think of when I guide people to do sage cleansings in their home. You have to open a window to let out the
Yeah,
negative energy while you're,
yeah.
smudging inside. And I think that even, for feng shui purposes, I think smudging is
Oh,
valuable
100%.
also.
Yeah, 100%. I use sage, American white sage. I find is the best for me, and I will always space clear. If I've had a bad day around somebody, do you know what I mean? So what you all do sometimes, meet those negative people. I'll sage myself, salt bath, sage, just to make sure my energy is well. But smudging is, if you want to sell a house, say you wanted to sell a house, you smudge and you reverse clear the house. So you go around the house the reverse way. If you want to buy a house or when you move into it, and if you're moving into your house or your home or whatever, and you're moving from another home, the last thing you should take out of the house is from the kitchen. And then the next place when you go in, the first thing you should do is put that in the kitchen, then smudge the house. Sometimes you don't have the chance to smudge it until everything's in, but then I would smudge it always.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. If you have a house guest who there's been some weird energy around them, definitely smudge after they go. It's amazing how much smoke happens.
I
house.
I know it's all there, isn't it? And of course, the other thing is we're a world now, though some of them people are getting back into the office, but we work from home, so we bring in. I know you can't actually bring people's energy in through the computer, through the Zooms, but you know when you talk to some people, you feel really good after you spoke to them, and some people you feel absolutely drained. You know, you got your top on here and your pajamas on the bottom, and you're like, maybe I'll just go back to bed. So you know, even the screens need smudging. So yeah, I think it was a really good thing to bring up because I do use it a lot and I do talk about it in the book, other tools that you can use as well.
Yeah, the book is great, and touching on Chinese astrology in the book too, um, is a really valuable part of it. So you're bringing in a lot of a lot of understanding about different types of energies and how
Yeah,
to be aware of them.
yeah.
So,
I'm a Chinese astrologer, so for me, I couldn't not write about it. And I think that if you know what your year animal is, what year you're born in, you get to know what your traits are, good and bad, and also the people in the house. And also, when your house is built, your house is then that animal. So my house was born in the year of the dragon snake. So then that makes this house, and I'm a rooster. So actually, the house and I get on really well. So sometimes you go to someone's house and they move in and they don't get on with it. And that can be the house not liking them. And my house does not like people that have got dog in their chart.
wow.
Yeah. So houses.
That's really interesting. I never heard that before.
Yeah, yeah. So when I feng shui or do consultations, virtual or in person, I get the year of the house was built. I was going to say born, and their dates of birth and when they moved in, because not necessarily because they bought a bad house, but I know what their energy was like when they moved in, and then things may change for them, or whatever. I mean, people bring you in for various amount of things, but it's very important that the house actually relates to you. That's my feng shui.
Yes.
I find that works.
Yes. Yes. Well, and especially if you're planning on being there for an extended, number of years,
Yeah.
you don't want it to be pushing you out. I mean, energy can push us out
Oh,
of a job, of a situation, of a relationship. I mean, like it just happens so naturally. So if, don't be only attracted to the aesthetics of the place, feel the energy of it, right?
yeah, 100%. I remember what I was doing before I bought this house was buying houses and doing them up and selling, obviously interior designer, as you know. Um, and then I'd bought this, and the builders were there with their cement mixer in the middle of the hall and everything. And I walked in, and I was like, oh. And then all of a sudden, this whoosh, and I really mean a whoosh, came like inside me, and it was like immediately the house and I connected, literally immediately. Now, I used to move every 6, 8 months. I've been here 24 years.
Okay, yeah.
And it's very hard for me to leave it. I am the house and I are like best friends. Things come and go, but the house and me don't. And the other thing I do is I rescue street cats. And when you have a street cat, they've been traumatized, etc., etc. And they all people come in, they go, how have you got so many cats that literally get on? I mean, I've only got six at the moment, but I've got three little rescues from different things in the last 6 months. And the house seems to like be like really kind and bring all that to them. So a house is healers as you say, we're not meant to be there. And I think it's very important to know that.
Yes. So, and yes, she's rescuing cats, folks, but she's also, and I'm looking for the picture of you with your dog. He's so cute. He's shaped
Yeah,
with
yeah.
yeah, I'm a total dog person. I'm looking for it now. But Yeah. Oh my God, this dog is so cute, folks. I have to show you. Um,
So Ria came along. I've never rescued a dog. I've always had a dog from pup. And my dog Murphy, who had had 14 years, passed on the 31st of April, and Ria was born on the 30th of April. How weird is that? And
wow.
she is the most super. I've never had a cockapoo. I've been a German Shepherd, um, what you call them, Alsatians, working cocker, Labrador. So for me, when Ria came along, it was like, oh my God, I've got this sort of little dog. There she is. Um, and she's like a little teddy bear. Um, and everybody says she's just the nicest, and I genuinely mean this, the nicest dog. You can take her on the Greensward, which is by the sea. She's so good. She goes up for everyone. She seems to know when they're a child, and she will sit with them. And with old people, she'll just won't go around because my mum was alive. My mum loved her because she was so. My mum was 90, and she just seemed to know that. So um, when I chose Ria, I could just see her energy. Do you know what I mean? She just had that thing about her. And as you can tell, I am an animal lover.
Yes, yes. I'm a dog person,
Right.
complete and utter. Mine is sitting over there while we're on,
All right. What have you got?
being good. But I've had a cockapoo, and they are just lovey-dovey. So they're a great breed. But we are coming to the end of our time together. Can
Goodness.
you share a final tip or tell us, anything about connecting with you or
Okay, so I'll give you a couple of tips. One of the abundance tips is to have, wait for this, a fruit bowl in your kitchen on the table. And the most auspicious item in your kitchen is your cooker. And so keep your cooker clean because that's a very big wealth element. And what you can do is put mirrors behind it. So if like you put tiles, if you have, I know it's a bit of a faff keeping them clean, but if you have mirror tiles behind it, it's like doubling your wealth. And I have used it. I don't have them, but I put them there if I want to do something specific. And it really works. So those are my two tips. Easy tips, easy tips. Also, oranges are very wealth. So in your bowl, have oranges in the bowl, but not bananas. Don't ask me why not bananas, because I don't know, but it is definitely not bananas. And if you want to find me, I'm on Facebook, Janine Lowe, or my website is www.janinelowe.co.uk. If you're in the UK, you'd only have to tap my name in there and I'd come up. And I was going somewhere with my son the other day and he said to Siri, "Who is Janine Lowe?" Yeah. And it came back all about me. So maybe you only have to say Janine Lowe into Siri.
thank you so much. This has been so fascinating,
Thank
and
you.
I hope folks benefit from it and get your book, because it's, who doesn't want more abundance, really?
Exactly
Um,
that.
we all want. Let me just show the book one more time, and it's everywhere, folks. Just you could probably Google it, and if you don't like Amazon or something, you could buy it
Yeah,
somewhere else. But
yeah, your big stores, it's definitely in there. So
yeah,
thank you.
thank you so much for being here.
Take care.